and we have peer-reviewed journals, sometimes you're quoting somebody else quoting somebody else, and we call that a quote within a quote. So on this source right here, who is the author of this source? Benaz Kiranessen, right? So what would the PC be for this source? Benaz is what? The first name. Do we put first names in a PC? No. The last name is what? Kiranessen. So what would our PC be? Kiranessen. Then what? Kiranessen 1301. All right. So that is easy enough. However, what if we have something like this quoted? Now I'm going to go to a new document. Control N for a new document. And I'm going to go back to that source, and I'm going to copy it and paste it. Copy. And I'm going to go over here. And I'm going to paste it as if I was pasting it into my paper. Okay? So this is the way the quote looks. Who said the words, "A person's beliefs about his or her abilities to take the actions necessary to be able to perform a behavior successfully"? Who said those words? Who said those words? Look at the quote, think critically. So everybody together, who said those words? Bandura. So Bandura said those words, but we said what about the PC? We said what should be the PC? Kieran Essen. Oh, shucks. Why didn't you guys tell me? It's on cap locks. Goodness gracious. Kieran Essen 1301, right? That's what we said. Okay. What's the problem though? What would be the question that you would have when you're writing this? Yeah, you don't like it because it says that Bandura said it. And our PC is Kieran Essen. So should we change the PC to Bandura? Only if we want a 0, right? Because the PC, the purpose of the PC is to do what? To cite wherever you got it from. And you didn't get it from Bandura. Their PC should be Bandura because they got it from Bandura. So in order to resolve the quandary in our head, we want to use quoted in. You see that? I don't know why I capitalized it. I don't know. It did it. Oh, because after the P. It'd be lowercase. Quoted in, Kieran Essen. Do you see that? Do you like it? All right, so that's what we would do for if we quote somebody else. Stop. Oh, all right, so now we have the problem of, let's say this is going to go in our paper, and so quotation marks would start where? At the beginning, so we would put quotation marks there, and quotation marks where else? After where? Before, after, what's happening here? What's happening here? It goes before the period? Okay. And then delete this period. Delete. And put a period at the very end. Excellent, Cameron. All right. And now, though, we have these quotes here, which mean what? What do these two quotes mean? What do those two quotes mean? Quotation marks always mean what?
Dialogue.
Somebody else's words. All right. So we need those quotation marks, right? But that's not how MLA wants us to quote another quote. They want us to change this to a single quotation mark. So I want for you, and we do this with the apostrophe key. So I use an apostrophe before A and apostrophe after successfully, and that is how that is going to look. So I have a quote within a quote now. So it starts with the self-efficacy, my quote, and my quote ends after their PC, and then I have single quotes around theirs. Go ahead, Ned. All right. If we look at this quote, it says SE was defined by Bandura as a person's beliefs, blah, blah, blah. What is the problem there if that was dropped into a paper like that? What question would you as the reader have? What is SE? Is that you, Shaq? Same thing?
Well, I was going to say, like, you know how they, so that's a quote and a quote, right?
Uh-huh.
So, when you, like, in the quote, you got quotation marks. So,
Uh-huh.
you like two quotation marks in one spot.
Well, so now we no longer have two quotation marks in one spot. This is quoted here, and we know that the citation for this is Bandura 1997. So right now we only have this. So as Cameron pointed out, our question would be, what is SE? So now you know what SE is. What does SE mean? Self-efficacy. Because I changed the quote, which you're not allowed to do. Don't change the quote. But for the sake of example, I changed it to self-efficacy. So, or to SE. So this is self-efficacy. If I want to tell my reader I want to insert self-efficacy, does anyone know how I would do that? Yes. Brackets. Brackets are not the same thing as parentheses. So I insert the bracket. Go ahead and show that key right there. You got it? You see it?
Yep.
Okay. So I insert the bracket. Now you can go back up to this. And I say self-efficacy. And I close the bracket. And the bracket means what? The bracket means Kieran Essen didn't say that. The bracket means Laurelyn Taylor, the author of this paper, the person who quoted Kieran Essen, wants to clarify for my reader what this is. So any words that I want to insert into a quote for clarification, I would do so in the brackets. Okay? All right. So there's a typo in this quote. What's the typo? This is supposed to be defined. This is not how you spell defined. But let's just, for kicks and giggles, say that Kieran Essen really did put this spelling error in the paper. It's not going to be the case, but let's just say the person has an omission of a word that should be there, or a spelling error, or something like that. How can I let the reader know that this mistake is Kieran Essen's and not mine, the person who's quoted from this? Do you remember from the first semester? Bracket, right? And the Latin word, what?
Sick.
Sick. Sick is Latin for as it either is or was. I don't remember. As it was or as it is. I cannot just go in and add the E. I can't do that. I have to quote exactly as Kieran Essen did. So I add the sick, but I can't let people think I wouldn't just add it in. I have to do it with brackets, and the brackets tells the reader that the author of the paper inserted something for their own benefit, okay, or for the reader's benefit. All right? So you see it? You good? We know what sick is. We know what brackets are. We know what quoted in is. All right. So, stop. All right. So some of you are using a website. This is the National Institute of Mental Health, and this is a .gov site, and you're allowed to use .gov and .edu. So let's say that we want to cite from this page, okay? I'm going to pull up our document, and I'm going to half and half it here, okay? So I'm going to come over here and return. Okay, so I normally would start with what as a citation? Source card. Okay, do I have an author on this site? No. So no author. Do I say anonymous? No. What do? I start with the title. Exactly. So the title goes in what kind of punctuation? Quotation marks. I just gave that to you. What's the title of this page? I'm going to lower this. I want more than just suicide prevention. What do you think it is? Suicide prevention if you know someone in crisis. Suicide prevention if you know someone in crisis. What end punctuation? Period. Very good. End quote. What comes next? What comes next? The site. Yes, we call that the container. And what is the site? National Institute of Mental Health. What kind of punctuation? Italicized. National Institute of Mental Health. What kind of punctuation? Comma, what? Publication date. I'm going to jump here. I'm going to go all the way down where? Oh, let's see if it's at the top. It's not at the top. It's usually at the bottom of a website. So I come down here. I come down, 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 down. And do I pass it? Oh, there it is. Here's my date. March 2017. So I'm going to say March 2017. What's the punctuation? Period, and then what? The URL. Very good. I copy. Hush. Me too. Paste. I Control C, and then I Control V. I have my URL. And then what comes after that? Access date. Accessed. What's today's date? 11 May 2017. What's that? Dude, today is the 12th.
Yeah.
My bad. 12 May 2017. I'm going to make this all the way. All right. This needs what kind of, what do I need to do now? Hanging indent. I'm going to highlight. I'm going to go to page layout. I'm going to go to paragraph. I'm going to tell under indentation, hanging, and I'm going to say OK. And there it is there. And that is how I do my hanging indent. I come down here. What would my PC be for this? What punctuation? In quotation marks, suicide prevention. End quotation marks. There's no page number, and that's my PC. You can end that. Okay, some of you are using the Health and Wellness Resource Center. The issue with the Health and Wellness Resource Center is what, for those of you who have used it? This database. Does not do what? It doesn't do the citations. You go all the way down to the bottom. All your other ones give you the citation. This one doesn't. So you need to know how to do it. Purdue OWL tells us the format to do it. But by now, we should be experienced enough that we can do it on our own. Okay, so I pull my document up here that we're using for this hour. I'm going to make it this small, and I start with what piece of information? The author. Do I have an author? No author, so I start with what? The title, which is what? Program reduces teen suicide attempts. So what kind of punctuation? Program reduces teen suicide attempts. What comes right here? Period. Then what? And quotation. Then what? What comes next? The publisher, which is what? No, that's my database. Health and Wellness Resource Center is my database. Look at what they say. No, look at their Harvard Reviews of Health News. That is my source, my container. What kind of punctuation? Italicized. Harvard Reviews of Health News. What kind of punctuation? Comma. And italics. Then what? The publication date, which is what? How do I type that? 21 Aug 2006. And those of you who are thinking what about this date?
Too old.
You are not allowed to use this source because it is way too old. You're allowed to go back 6 years. But still, this is how we cite this. All right? So after the date comes what information? The database, and our database is what? Health and Wellness Resource Center. And that goes in punctuated how? Italicized. Health and Wellness Resource Center. And then what? Period. Then what? Access date. Today's 12 May 2017. Period. Let's make this larger. We're done. Okay. So it did the hanging indent automatically for us because it's intuitive. That's fine. So I didn't have to do that. If I do, what is it that's gonna? If I needed to, how would I get to it? How do I get to the hanging indent part? I'd click on which one of these tabs? Page layout, and then what? And then I'd click on paragraph, and then I would go to, and we see it here, okay? The hanging. That would do it. Okay, so I need to do a PC for this. What is the PC? In what kind of punctuation? In quotation marks, program reduces. Is there a page number? Nope. So I end quotation marks, and that is my PC for that. Go ahead and stop. Okay. All right. So this is an APA style works cited page, which they probably call it a bibliography. Whatever. APA focuses, well, MLA focuses on what? Think about the parenthetical citation. Two pieces of information, what and what? The author, it's not always the author, it's what? The first piece of information. That first piece of information tells us where to go on the works cited page. And then what? The page number, which is locator information. That's what MLA focuses on. APA focuses on what? Not necessarily the author. First piece of information, right? Because what goes in the parenthetical citation is always the first piece of information here. Okay. So first piece of information, which is often the author, and then what? when it was published, the year of publication. How old is this information? Okay, so different focuses. So in this, what do you notice about the first 5 sources on their works, references? They call it a references page. What do you? The same author. The same author. So if you have the same author on multiple sources, what are you doing on your works cited page after the first one? You're doing a dash. So you wouldn't have the author's name, you'd have dash, 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 dash. Then you would have this information right here. So just so you know, MLA requires more information than APA. MLA is harder than APA. You just do what your professor tells you to do when you go to college. So in MLA citation, let's pretend that this had quotation marks around it, right? And this had quotation marks around it, and this had quotation mark. Oh my gosh. Oh, how did they organize theirs? They organized it by second piece of information, right? Which is what? The year. So 86, 94, 97, 2005. Our years don't come until after. So our second piece of information is what? And everybody should be looking up here. The title. And so how would which one of these would come first on a works cited page in MLA? Adolescent development. Cameron says, and that's because it starts with A. Right? All right, so the PC becomes complicated because it can't just be what? It can't just be the first. I heard, who said the first? The first. Shaq said the first piece of information. Thank you. It can't just be the first piece of information, which would be Bandura, the author's name, because we have 5 things that are like that. And it would have to be Bandura plus what? The title, or a portion of the title. So we'd have to have Bandura, adolescent development, and adolescent development would be in what? Thank you. In quotation marks. Yes. So our PC would have to be Bandura, adolescent development. Bandura, social foundations. Bandura, self-efficacy. If we don't do that in the PC or in an in-text citation, nobody can tell which of the 5 Bandura sources it is. Okay? Questions on that? All right.